Hello and welcome to episode 30 of my GregBlock series. Thank you very much for joining again. And we are standing over here to have a look at the trees because I finally got a beech sapling. My trees look like a war landscape, but some pollinated and I got a bunch more birds and whatnot, but also finally got beech. And so I planted it, and I also, come on, planted jungle. More, okay. That was 9 bone meal. I wonder if this one is bigger. I wonder if this one is bigger maybe than the other trees. Let's move this one over here. And let's move this one over here. It actually seems bigger, you know, wider. Anyway, so hopefully we'll be getting the tree that we need. And this is really getting important though, because I will show you why. And I already got most of my seeds out from here. So last time we did the pyrolyze oven, whatever it's called. And in between I smelled some more wood. I set up some drums here. I got 60 buckets of wood tar, wood gas and wood vinegar. Now, if you go back to the epoxy resin recipe, you know, that's our goal right now, is to get epoxy resin. We need to get Epichlorohydrin, and that requires glycerol and hydrochloric acid, or glycerol and or allyl chloride and hypochloric acid. And so I figured glycerol was the better way. And then for glycerol we need seed oil and methanol or seed oil and ethanol. Now ethanol from wood vinegar gets you 10 millibuckets. Methanol from wood vinegar gets you 300 millibucks. So methanol is the best way. But you can see either way it takes 6 buckets of seed oil to make 1 bucket of glycerol. So I've been making seed oil. I've been making seed oil and I have a bucket. And I put a lot of seeds in here. I converted melons, I converted pumpkins. And I'm afraid we're gonna have to let that go for a while. Yeah, so in the meantime I have been preparing, and where am I going? Oh yes. I have been preparing something else over here. Because I want 5 more diesel generators. So I need 5 more machine hulls, 5 more machine casings, and 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is that wrench gone. Did I have one here? No, just the file and the hammer. Okay. And then, so we need, did we? Oh, I was so sure I made enough. Okay, so that's 10 copper cables, 15 copper cables. So let's do 18 copper cables. This is such a resource hungry pack. Every time you think, oh, I'll make a few extra and then we should be fine. And then you still run out of resources the whole time. No matter what you do, you always run out of resources. Sorry about that. You think, you know, I made more cables. I made like, well, 40 for the, more 40 double wires, I think, for those pistons, and more cables, and okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because I did prepare that, right? Okay. So I need 5 of those good integrated circuits. 1, 2, 3, 4. Why not? Oh, I thought I may, again, you know, oh yeah, sure, we'll make a few more of those. 4 or 5. See, there's always something. I have these, I have those, I have, oh, sorry, I have those right here. 3 of those. Back to this one. 3, 4, 5, finally. Now, so the reason is that, you know, this one was just not able to keep up when I was doing multiple machines. And we're going to be doing distillery, we're going to be probably advanced chemical reactor, all kinds of stuff. And I also know I'm going to need another pickaxe. I did, in the meantime, chop down those trees. I got this drawer filled up with string again. Well, half filled with wood because I use a lot for the wood vinegar, wood gas, and wood tar. Now the only thing with these is if I place them and I right click, shift right click, right? Yes, I shift right click to the side, okay. Then I can safely place them the way I want to. You can go here, here. You can go, and you can go. Come on. You, and you, and then shift, 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 shift. Okay, some more fluid ducts. The downside of these fluid ducts I have found is they seem to be retaining a lot of the liquid themselves. My drum was almost empty without filling any of the machines, any of the generators. Just from there you go. See there, and that servo is not enabled. This is just coming out of the pipes. And I don't know how much they hold, but they seem to be holding a lot. So all of them are working. Nothing exploded or burned down here. So that's good. So yeah, I think I just need to get more seed oil. Wait for that. And that, see, the other trees still haven't grown. I'll just wait for it, and otherwise I'll try moving them. And through the magic of editing, this is about 8 hours AFKing later. We got the Brazil nut tree, and we already had the balsa tree, so we planted them together, and hopefully they will make the coconut tree. By the way, this part is a voiceover, because when I recorded this first time, my microphone was not being recorded. So I'm sorry, this kind of sound a bit weird, and I need to recall everything I did. But so I'm looking at some of these leaves have already pollinated right over there. Not many more, but at least I got the 2 trees that we need to get coconut. And I planted one, and when they grew, I broke them so I got more saplings without using a crafter, just by breaking the tree. When I tore down the beeches, BWCH, I found that oh, sorry, I'm first telling you about, how I spent all this time harvesting the pumpkins and harvesting the melons to get the seed oil. I used about 1,200 seeds in total to get 12 buckets of seed oil into my drum. And then, so yeah, the Brazil nuts don't do much. They only do 20 millibuckets as well. That's only twice as good as the regular seeds. But I tore down the beeches after I finished crossbreeding them, and then I got the beech nuts. And I decided to plant a few over here, and I'll show you why. So they grow pretty well. So let me tear down these trees. Let's see if I count. One, and I'm getting quite a lot of saplings and quite a lot of nuts from them. Let's see. And oh yeah, we're also getting butterflies now, which I think I'm coming from the trees and not from the bees. So the forestry trees give us those lovely butterflies. Okay, 3. So the other ones will see. These are dropping so many of the beech nuts. I'm not sure what they're called right now. We'll see that in a minute in my inventory. And I already got 31 of these. And there's a few more here. That's just from 3 trees. Let's take down the others. 4, 5, and let's see, even more dropping. And they're dropping really a lot of these nuts, as well as a lot of saplings, but I don't need that many saplings. But 5 trees. There's the 6th one already grown. So let's take that one out as well. And 6 trees have given us a stack and a half, or more or less, of these beech nuts. And they do 100 millibuckets each. If you look at this in the fluid extractor, 100 millibuckets of seed oil, so that's 10 of the regular seeds. So this itself is about a whole bucket, you know, just one harvest of these trees is a bucket of seed oil. Which is, it's over a bucket, right? Because this is, oh no, sorry, 100 seeds would be a bucket, 10 seeds would be a bucket, sorry. This is 10 buckets, where otherwise you'd need 1,000 seeds for 10 buckets. So yeah, this is really good, and of course it's going to be even better once we start getting coconuts, because they're 3 times even as much. Although I don't know how many they will drop. We would have to see that. I could always go back to the beach. So here is where our fluid extractor has been running, and where we had all those 1,200. And oh yeah, we got some mulch from these as well. And we have, you know, over, what is it, 22 buckets now. So I was trying to get 12, and then I got these beech nuts. So that's really easy to get now, seed oil. Alright, so let's throw these in here and get some more. And of course now we need to use the seed oil in our steps, in our process, to get epoxy resin. And the first thing we need to get is the Epichlorohydrin, for which we need glycerol, and for which we need okay, and for glycerol we need seed oil and methanol, or seed oil and ethanol. And methanol was obtained by wood vinegar to 300 millibuckets for 1, which I think is better than ethanol one, right? Glycerol. Yes, so seed oil and methanol, or seed oil and ethanol. But either way, we're gonna need the seed oil. And I think I'm gonna go for the methanol solution here. And the nice thing is we also get biofuel from that, which we can also use in our diesel generators. So this may be a nice alternate fuel source. We can automate the trees, we can automate the vinegar, because that's how we get the methanol from the wood vinegar. Program 3. I should make another one of those programming circuits, really. And I will in a minute. The voiceovers are always a bit weird, right? Because for me, this recording was over a day ago, and I'm trying to think what I did. I was saying how I, also off camera, did a lot more wood. I chopped down the trees. I got the string from them as well, so our string drawer is full. I got more oak wood, and So this is the wrong circuit. I'm going to make one of these so I can make the configuration programmed circuit. You know, they're easy enough to make now. And now we need to get this into distillery with program 3. And I'm trying to shift click, and of course that doesn't work. I need to shift drop, which is different. Basically, yeah, it should work in the MV distillery, circuit 3, wood vinegar, and of course, yes, I need to shift drop, and then it works. So now we're getting methanol, and it's 300 millibuckets to 1 bucket, so I'm doing 10 buckets. I should get 3 buckets of methanol. And now I also need a tiny pile of sodium hydroxide dust, which I can get from electrolyzing our chemical reactor sodium dust and water. Sodium dust we have. I know we have because we made that previously. So sodium dust and water in a chemical reaction gives us hydrogen, and that. Okay, in the advanced chemical reactor, drop in a bucket of water, drop in sodium dust, and we should get the... It's not showing though, there's nothing there. It should have given us the sodium hydroxide dust. For some reason, it wasn't showing that. So, okay, let's try that again. Weirdly enough, you could see it wasn't there. We'll try that a few more times, see if it's a chance. It doesn't tell me it's a chance. And actually, yeah, I'm missing it, but here it is. Suddenly it showed up. It didn't show up before, but now it's showing up. So water and sodium, hydrogen, and sodium hydroxide dust. And now I'm seeing it. A bit late, but I'm seeing it now. So it's not a chance, it just wasn't showing it initially. Okay, at least we have it now. We get some more hydrogen. This one has finished our methanol. Now we can do the seed oil and the methanol with the tiny pile. And unfortunately this is not shapeless, this is not giving a tiny pile, this is giving a small pile. So methanol and 6 seed oil. I can 18, but I can only do 16, so I'll do the other 2 later. It's not working because I got the wrong sodium hydroxide dust. This is a small pile and I need to have a tiny pile. So, okay, I'm discovering the error. And it's kind of weird how that works though. If you craft these on any slot, it makes a small pile, but only on the top left slot of a 3x3 does it give you the tiny pile. So we need to get to a crafting table, combine these 4 back into a regular block, a regular dust, and now we have tiny piles. So we can do 3 tiny piles into the chemical reactor, and that should start making us the glycerol. Fill it up to be the 6:1 ratio again. Glycerol and biodiesel. 6 buckets of biodiesel. That is pretty cool. From 6 buckets of seed oil. So yeah, that may be a nice alternative fuel source. We have, you know, the trees over there, the coconuts, and we can harvest those for the oil, but we can also harvest the wood to throw into our pyrolyzed oven. And it would be a fairly easy to automate process, right? So we may look into that in the future, but this, at least we have our glycerol. Now this is really a complex chemical process, and I'm not a chemist. Really, this is, I need to look it up 60 times and then I'm still forgetting it. So we have the glycerol, And we can use that either to make cetane boosted diesel, or we can just burn it in the diesel generator, which is pretty cool. Anyway, we have the glycerol. Now we need hydrochloric acid, which we get from water, chlorine, methane, or distillation tower, which we don't have yet. But then I realized that there's another recipe, which is chlorine and hydrogen in the hydrochloric acid. Chlorine we get from some materials. One of them is salt, and we got salt early on already from sifting. So need to find somewhere at some point rock salt. I think this is where I find it. So salt in the electrolyzer gives us sodium and chlorine. So let's get some salt. And we take out what we did for the small sphalerite previously. We no longer need that. And not sure what I'm oh yeah, I'm just cleaning up my stuff here. Then salt in the advanced electrolyzer. This should give me 3 buckets of chlorine, right? And then hydrochloric acid is the chlorine plus, I don't remember. So that's chlorine, and as well as 3 sodium dust, we needed more. The chlorine is then used to combine with not with the glycerol. First you have to make the hydrochloric acid, right? So I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing again. There's so many steps, I forgot what I was doing, but I was making hydrochloric acid. So let's have a look at hydrochloric acid, which is the chemical reactor where we use chlorine and hydrogen. That's it, chlorine and hydrogen to make hydrochloric acid. So we have chlorine, and I didn't realize that I also had hydrogen, so I went to get some after cleaning up my inventory again, because so many cans. Okay, let's get some hydrogen, and then I realized I already had some, so now I have more. I mean, that's fine. Okay, glycerol, we did that. Acetomethanol, carbon monoxide to make. I'm not sure what I'm looking at now. Ah, there it is. I need hydrochloric acid, which is chlorine and hydrogen in the chemical reactor. I'm just not good at remembering all these different recipes. There's so many that we have to do. So chlorine and hydrogen. Again, shift clicking them in doesn't work, and that is going to make us the hydrochloric acid. Another step done in the process towards epoxy resins. Now, the next thing we need. Oh, sorry. No, we're gonna use the glycerol and hydrochloric acid to make the epichlorohydrin, right? So 3 of these and 3 of these should be fine. And there we go. It's actually not a bad machine. It's quite fast, the advanced chemical reactor. It's just the amount of steps we have to do is taking a lot of time. And there we have the epichloro thingy. And depending on how much we need, we may want to automate this more and get more of these chemical reactors. But it's about 7 sheets per bucket, and shouldn't be too hard. Okay, so we should get 3 buckets and 6 buckets. We do. So now we have 3 buckets of the epichlorohydrin, the first part of the epoxy resin. Now, we can either go for naphtha or we can go for bisphenol A. And this is where I start looking at the best solution to get, and then we need acetone and phenol. And then I discover a recipe that actually makes acetone and phenol. going back to the wrong recipe here. I need this recipe. And I find a recipe that makes acetone as well as, so acetone can be gotten from wood vinegar, but it's only 50 millibuckets per bucket of wood vinegar. That's a really poor ratio, and I wasn't looking forward to that, although I'm afraid this is going to be where we're going. I did find this one, which is making phenol as well as acetone, which is what we need. So, oh yes, sorry. I made the acetic acid and I got the calcite, which we already had in from sifting. And here's where I realized that the recipe I found doesn't actually work. Acetic acid should make acetone, but only acetic acid. It will only make acetone in the high voltage chemical reactor and not in the medium voltage chemical reactor. So this whole route I was taking to get acetone is failing here because it's the wrong machine. And that, so yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the other acetone solution, and I will do that in the next episode. So I'm sorry for the weird voiceover. I hope you don't mind too much. If you did like it, please click the like button. Leave a comment. Any ideas, questions, tips, concerns, whatever, please leave them in the comment section. And until next time, take care. Bye bye.